Hi guys, my name is Cedric Lee and I'm with MAST Education. I graduated from Shatin College in 2017 and I've just finished my IB diploma. Unfortunately, I did not get 45, but I'm sitting here today with 4 students from Shatin College that did get 45. So I thought it would be a good idea for me as well as for you, for us to all listen to these 45 scoring individuals and see what we can learn from them today. So why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
All right, thank you very much, Cedric and MAST Education for inviting me here today. My name is To Yuan. I'm currently 18 years old and I just finished the IB, obviously. And next year I will be heading off to the US and I'll be studying in the University of Chicago, and I plan to pursue a major in economics.
Hi, I'm Henry, and I'll be doing a dual degree in law at the University College London as well as the University of Hong Kong next year. And I hope to practice in both jurisdictions after I graduate.
My name is Mike, and I'm planning to study in University of Hong Kong next year. And I'm going to major in international business and potentially have a second major in quantitative finance.
Hi, my name is Jeff, and I'm going to Imperial College London next year to study aerospace engineering.
All right, thank you for that. So let's just jump straight into it.
All right.
So the first question we have for you today is, we all know that some subjects have a reputation for being really difficult, like higher math or further math or higher physics. And we all know that some subjects are slightly easier. I'm not gonna say any names right now, but are there any subjects that you feel people may not realize are actually harder or easier? And which subjects maybe you think people would have an easier or harder time taking?
Right. Like, despite the name or the difference between higher and standard level, I think for economics, standard level is actually harder than higher level. Because if you look at the course structure, at least for this syllabus, higher level economics has a 20% component. It's worth 20%, and it's basically full of quantitative stuff, reading graphs and doing calculations. And like, even if you suck at maths, it's pretty easy. I mean, it's the hardest thing is calculating areas of triangles, and the only thing that could go wrong really is careless mistakes. So I think that 20% is quite easy to get, or at least it's quite easy to get like a good portion of that 20%. Whereas for standard level, it's the hard part. 100% of it's the hard part, which is writing essays.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't have that 20% to back you up. So.
That might be true, but at the same time, you have to realize that in SL economics, there's a lot less content covered. So the stuff that they can ask you in the essays is usually a lot easier, at least from what I see, than HL Econ. For example, in microeconomics and SL, they can basically just ask you about market failure and had like the pros and cons of market failure. But then in HL, you might have really weird things like tragedy of the commons and stuff that most students, like you can, like on a good year, you can get a 7 without knowing what that is, but on a bad year, that can hit you really, really
It's quite
hard.
random.
Yeah.
I feel like marketing is quite random. I got lucky.
But the problem of SL Econ is that at times you get these really weird questions like, what is a price signaling mechanism? And it takes really long to explain.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so you feel like it's a 4-mark question, but then it's really 10 marks.
And on HL, you cover more topics. So even if you get a weird question, you can always double back and talk about something else that kind of relates.
Yeah,
And it works better.
that's true. So you would say like econ is more of like, econ HL is more like
An
more
SL.
of an SL. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know. You learn more stuff as well, but
Yeah.
it's quite interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's quite interesting.
I like it.
And of course, there's the memorable quote that you get from Keynes, in the long run, we all dead. So it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. We know like many students are really scared of the sciences, right? And like I know at least you three, right? You also took higher physics and higher chem?
No, not me.
Oh, you took higher chem as well. Oh, SL chem.
SL.
So could you tell us about like your experiences with like the higher sciences? And maybe Henry, you could talk about like your experiences with standard sciences. So, Toya, maybe you can start.
Well, I think for science, HL physics was one of the subjects I spent a lot of time on. As for the first few topics, at least the core bits is actually not that bad. I would feel like topics 1 to 7, which both the HL and the SL do. But once you get into topics 9 to 12, it really hits you really hard. And I think science has one of the hardest IAs. It's out of 24, and it's really hard to get above 20. I know Jeff did, but that's it. Maybe Jeff can talk about the IA actually. Yeah.
What?
Oh.
Huh?
I actually didn't think the IA was that bad. I just picked topics that I like
Of course
doing.
you did.
I think for HL sciences, you have to pick a science that you actually enjoy doing, or else you're gonna have a really bad
Yeah,
time.
like some people have, for physics, right? Okay, I can speak for physics. So, like, I noticed that some people, they just have they just get the gist of it, right? Like, you explain something halfway and they immediately get the other half, right? Like, if you're one of those people, then I think it's, well, for physics at least, if you're one of those people for physics, then do take physics because, it's quite conceptual and it's quite logical. So if you get that, if you're quite adept at it, then go ahead.
Back to your point on the IA, I actually think that people sometimes overcomplicate things.
Oh yeah.
In reality, some people, even at HL for physics, I know, they do something that's really simple, like a trolley going down the slope. And what you have to know about the physics or science IA is that you need to meet the criteria really well. It doesn't matter about what the theory is behind the experiment, doesn't really matter. What you need to do is to make sure you're collecting data correctly, you're presenting it correctly, and you meet all the criteria that the IB puts forward.
So difficulty doesn't matter. Right?
Yeah.
Like it's as long as you follow the standard practice.
Yeah.
So like the point is, even if a Swiss physicist working at the Large Hadron Collider created a new quark for his IA, but then he could still get a really bad grade if he doesn't follow the IB criteria. But at the same
It's
time,
unfortunately how it is.
We had a friend.
they don't really judge your science achievement, but more about following the criteria. That's one thing I don't
We're dissing
like.
the IB.
No, we had a friend who tried to do a really, really complicated physics IA on like fluid mechanics or something. He didn't do that well in the end. So, whereas I did something about wine glasses and making sound using wine glasses, something that's really simple and cliched. So I think it's best to keep it simple and to choose something that you like.
Yeah. So I think it's more of a general theme, right? I'm sure you'll agree with me. You should play to your strengths and like not pick subjects just because your mom or dad wants you to be an engineer or a doctor as you grow up, right? But Toyin, just now you mentioned how you worked really hard on your physics, on your higher physics syllabus, right? And so I think this ties on really like fluidly to our next part of the interview, which is, if you're spending so much time studying and like IB is really an exhausting experience, how do you unwind during your downtime, or like how do you, de-stress yourself?
Sleep.
I don't know. I always try to like, no matter how hard the work is, I usually try to leave 1 hour every day to do something I like. And for me, that's usually running. And whenever I go out running, I can just forget about everything in the IB and just like be in the difference. Running, you can interpret it as that way. But what happens is, okay, sure, like at first I may be really stressed, but after a run, I'll come back and sometimes there will be a problem that I didn't get. But when I come back from running, even though I wasn't even thinking about math or physics or whatever when I was exercising, but then when I'm back, my brain's just refreshed and then it actually boosts your productivity if you're doing something you enjoy once in a while.
Well, my control's not as good as his. So if I'm stressed, I stress, right? So like I can't get my mind off it. And it really bugs me sometimes. But like I think that's the point, right? Like everyone like adapts to situations differently. Like he can run, he can take his mind off it. I can't do that, right? So well, what I did was sleep, really. So
wow. So like you just
being unconscious makes you not think about it. That's the only way for me.
Because it really helps you gain concentration. Sometimes you're just sitting there staring at a piece of paper and you're not actually thinking about anything. So if you take maybe a 15 or 20-minute nap, I read this on Bloomberg. Apparently, if you drink tea and then take a nap, it will be even better than either a cup of tea or a nap on its own.
Oh, really?
So you should actually do both. And so if you get enough sleep, you'll literally be sleeping your way to the top.
Wow. Ooh, that is that should be like on a piece of paper somewhere. Yeah. What about you, Jeffrey?
I think it's important just to like leave time to take breaks because I'm not very good at studying for long periods of time.
Yeah.
Like after perhaps an hour or 2 hours of studying, I always want to do something else.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. I just go and do something else I enjoy. So maybe music or something else, game, or do something else to let my mind relax.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So I guess it all just depends on what sort of person you are, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm siding with Toya, and like I used to go to the gym, we'll go for a run, whenever there's too much work. But if that isn't for you, then you could try like sleeping it away or just doing something you enjoy, right? Yeah. Okay. Next question. During IB, you have to write a 4,000-word essay on a subject you choose called an extended essay. How did you decide which EE topic to choose? And are there any general thoughts or feelings you want to share about the extended essay?
I guess it's really a balance between what you think will be a interesting topic and what is actually easy for you to get a good grade in. Because it kind of works both ways. If you're not interested in a topic, you naturally write a pretty bad essay. But at the same time, if you are overambitious and pick a topic that's really difficult and it's really difficult to get an A in, then you're sort of ruining your own self because you still have to get those 3 points somewhere, and TOK is probably not where you're going to get those 3 points. So I think a good idea would be to look up the IBO statistical bulletin, and you can see which subjects are statistically easier to get an A in.
I think the subject's really important for EE.
Yeah.
So it's the sciences are notoriously difficult to do E's in, and
what did you do?
Math. And I think math is also quite difficult subject to do an EE in. Like looking back.
They just want to see like you evaluate stuff. Like they don't want you. They don't want you to see. They don't want to see you like copy stuff from whatever your source is onto paper. They want you to like actually think about it and put your thoughts into the paper, like with logical explanation or reasoning of why you think that way.
I think another problem a lot of students will face is that based on the limited resources of their school, they might not be able to get the subject that they want. And I had that problem. I really wanted to do an economics EE because it would be similar to writing an IA in econ. It would be really similar. But then I ended up getting my second choice, which was math, and that was really scary for me. I didn't know what I was going to do, but eventually, even in math, I still found an area that I liked more, and so I chose statistics, and eventually I did really well in my EE.
And it's not only for the extended essay. For all subjects in general, you should consult the examiner's report and look at what you need to do to get the grades, because the examiner's reports actually tell you what you have to do. Like even with English literature, they tell you, do not call paragraphs in the poem a verse or a stanza. Those are not stanzas if they're regular rhyme sets. It says specifically in the IB examiner report on like page 21, they are verse paragraphs. And then, so then you go into your exam and use the term verse paragraph, even though it sounds ridiculous. But that's what you have to do in order to get the points.
Aren't they changing the EE criteria this year?
Yeah.
They're judging it on part of it's being judged on reflection. Why?
Oh, really? But they're taking a holistic judgment, right?
What?
They're taking a holistic.
I don't know.
There's a whole new section on MLI and
What's that mean?
No. MLA. Yeah, MLA.
MLA.
Oh my god.
And reflection.
So
all right.
just check up the criteria, see what you need.
So like, would you guys say the EE was the hardest part of the IB, or what would you say is the hardest part of the IB, if not the EE?
TOK. Because you actually have to think, like.
Do you have to think though?
Yeah.
I challenge that.
Does that mean you didn't think for any of your other subjects?
No. Like critical thinking, right? Like everyone says TOK is insert bad word, okay? But like, I don't think it is really, like, because you have to have like it's so difficult that people think you can just BS your way through it.
You can't.
I don't think you can. Like I guess the best way to judge whether your essay presentation is good is like if someone who hasn't read it before can follow it and understand your thoughts or your opinions, then at least like make it understandable.
Yeah.
And one
like you have to understand it before someone else does. That's the thing, right?
Yeah, and there's a mistake that people make very often is that their essay doesn't read like a TOK essay. And to be making a TOK essay, you really need to use specific vocabulary, and that stuff you should have learned with your teacher. If not, you can just buy a textbook, buy Richard, I don't know, Lagermatt or something. I think if you just use the right terms, if you try and package it in a way not saying that you're pretending to know TOK, but let's say you're trying to do it in a way that adheres to the specifications of the TOK syllabus, then you should be able to get a good grade.
Yeah, I think like Henry makes a really good point actually, because ultimately the IB is an exam and you need to show the exam board that you know the knowledge, right? And the way you do that is you answer it in terms of ways like they would accept, right?
Yes.
So it's really important for us to check the syllabus and like check glossaries, for example.
Yeah, I mean like like the point of it is to learn, right? But like you have to show them that you learned.
Yeah.
And then I think that's the it's not only limited to IB, right? Like for all education or exam systems, they want to see that you've learned. So you have to actively show them that you have. Like even if you do, you might not be able to show them using the terminology that they want.
Do you think it would have been easier for you guys if like you had someone there who could have been like who could have like told you like what areas to focus on more? Like for example TOK, right? Like telling you and reminding you to put in those words. Do you think that would have helped you, or like?
Not put in words.
I think our teachers all told us about the TOK terminology, but the thing is, just putting in the words isn't enough. You need good reasoned arguments, and no one can find that for you but yourself.
Right.
So,
it really depends on the person as well.
True.
And you're not pretending. Remember, being an IB student, you're here to learning profiles. You're being principled, and you have integrity. So you actually have to learn the content before you put it in.
All right, we're running short of time now. So 2 more questions. Is there anything you would do differently now that it's over?
Wow.
Should have done A levels.
Nothing.
Well, I don't know.
Regrets?
I think I would want to spend more throughout. I'm talking about life in general, not just IB, but I would have wanted to spend more time on extracurriculars because sometimes I felt that yes, I did spend a lot of time studying, but then at the same time, sometimes did I really need to memorize that thing that many times? Maybe I could have done more.
In hindsight,
should have filled up your common app.
But I think I made like quite good use of these 2 years. Well, I don't regret much of it. I think it's quite enjoyable.
You do learn a lot of stuff in IB, like especially with English literature, history, econ, the stuff that I do. I thought the learning process was quite fun. It's just the exam that is quite terrible. But if you think that you'll use the knowledge later, it's quite worth the experience.
Last question before we sign off. Does pineapple belong on pizza?
No.
Yes.
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 All right, you have it from our 45 students, 3-1. Pineapple does belong on pizza. And we hope you had a good time. We definitely had a good time today. And we hope to hear from you soon. Thank you.
Thank you guys. Bye-bye.